Hello everyone, welcome to the 2025 February Fight Club tournament, 1v1 tournament. Quite looking forward to see how this ends up going. We have some nice contestants today. We have the Fish, Plus, and Artem all going up against each other. Just getting things set up, trying to get all the contestants together. Let's see. Looks like everything is so far working all right. Okay. Getting things set up here. Trying to set up for the contestant brackets. Okay, let's see if this works out. Okay, let me see if I can get the contestant bracket shown. Don't want to mess everything up. And there it is. Plus the Fish, Artem plus, and then Fish and Artem. Sounds like a plan. Quite curious to see how this will end up, and yeah, quite looking forward to it as well. Just waiting on the Fish. So far, everything's looking okay. Hope it stays that way. Just having a little bit of trouble getting OBS working correctly with Cosmoteers, and it's kind of the reason for the black line at the bottom of the screen. I hope that doesn't bother anybody, but that's the way it has to be. Still waiting on the fish for our first round. Just double checking the settings. I have mistakenly forgot to add a 0 in the past and do not want to make the same mistake. And the fish has arrived. Amazing. Good to have him with us. Let me see. Sounds good. So this is I believe that means 2 out of 3. Correct me if I am wrong. Got everybody in. Let's just give them a moment to prepare their ships. Every player today has a long past of Cosmoteers and a lot of skill in domination game mode. So it's going to be a very interesting tournament today. And Fish has left the game again. Okay, well. AutoRam is a helpful tool in a stressful situation. Can definitely help you out to a certain extent. Cuts down on clicks per second in certain situations, but it does also have its flaws. And the fish is in the lobby. Awesome. Let's give him a second to put all the ships in and start the game. This first round is going to be very, very interesting. The meta right now kind of includes nuke and DC mixes, or last time I knew at least. So quite curious to see if they're going to be using those today. I've seen many situations where they can be useful, but others where they can definitely be a hindrance. And let us begin. And we're in. Fish versus Pless. Pless out with a, I knew what these were called. Avoider, a laser avoider. Very common ship we see nowadays. This is we're starting to see, I should say. This is a very less armored version than I've seen before. The fish out with his common twin deck cannon ships. But we're going to see him grab some EMP here to counter the avoider, as he's not going to really be able to catch it with these cannon DC ships here. Using the spin tactic, because spinning is a good trick. Hitting with EMP. Getting right in there with the cannon ship. Perfect timing. Plus avoiding that with his avoider. Getting a small deck, or large cannon ship over here to take Delta. But we see the fish countering. Oh, and Plus loses his avoider. That is unfortunate. That is very unfortunate. Loses it before it's able to do any severe damage. The fish is also taking alpha. Plus and the fish engaging here in delta. Both at the same class of ship, different styles. Different creators, I should say. Echo is taken, Alpha is also taken, and Charlie is also being taken. Unfortunately, I do believe this round is going to go to the fish, but we will see. Plus taking heavy damage here. Delta being taken again. Or taken back, I should say. I'm going to see that EMP come back into the field. Very cheap, lightweight ship. Not really something that can take a hit, but definitely useful, and it was useful in different situations. And we're going to see another Invoider. Unfortunately, he loses that ship, and with that, possibly the game. Not quite yet. But all that momentum keeps him traveling, and he almost loses again. And at this time, without any other ship and enemies coming up on his side, there's not really much he can do. He's being teamed up against here. He's losing the zone. There's nothing else that he can buy, and he's definitely not giving up, but unfortunately, he loses the game. And that is a GG. And now for the second round. That's 1 for fish, and nothing for plus at this time, but things may change. Most Avoiders I've seen so far with that same design have had either 2 or 3 layers of armor, depending on the creator. On average, I'd say 3. And so it is a gamble for to be that light armor and lightweight. It's less defense against EMP and just less chance of surviving, really. Plus the first to Alpha. We see the same strategy for both players in this game. Plus trying to do more damage by targeting one of the guns. But the fish is already prepared and has started to spin. And now has the EMP out, so unless Plus can do a lot of damage to these ships, there's not much he's going to be able to do. EMP striking home, doing lots of damage. Or lots of power outages, I should say. Plus using it a lot more efficiently this time. But we see the fish taking Alpha. Plus getting in there to stop him. And we see the fish out with another 2DC ship. I probably would have bought the EMP if I were him. Still having 2 of these on the field. But now Plus is probably going to be able to slowly save up for another. Those are pretty cheap. And even cheaper yet is this one than compared to others I've seen. But I wouldn't put it past the fish to be able to take Alpha here in this situation. And it looks like he's probably going to get Alpha. But the Plus, or the fish, sorry. But Plus is out with another Avoider. That makes 2 and a 600k fleet. And so this round does look like, so far, it could go either way, but we do see the fish has Alpha now, and is also doing lots of damage to this Avoider. And now also taking Bravo, putting fish on top, almost taking Bravo. Still, that's out of the Plus's hands, and he's got the EMP back. He's sending his ship back to repair, unfortunately hitting a rock in the process. EMP's hitting home, doing lots of shield damage. That is unfortunate. That could be really bad. We do see that the fish has lost a 2 deck cannon, but we might see a loss here. This is really bad. There's not much he can do here. He's getting pinned to the rock. He does slightly make it out. Unfortunately, his reverse thrust taking damage. And we do see the other... I missed them both, I'm sorry. Do see the other twin DC being taken out. But unfortunately, Plus taking a lot of damage here. Getting himself out of there will be the best thing he can do. Charlie is being taken by Plus himself. The fish taking lots of damage, but Plus able to get, just barely though, his avoider out of there and buying a second one, or a third one. But he turns back and loses it, unfortunately. That does cut down on his fleet size a bit. But as long as he can avoid that EMP, he's able to take out smaller, lighter ships. But this is a hard one. He's got pinned to the rock, and now unless he really does something, EMP is out. And now it's a 2v1 with a better ship, the Avoider. And we see the fish out with a 3 nuke and DC ship. Not uncommon to see. I'm surprised we didn't see it sooner from the fish. I think he's hoping to do lots of damage quickly to these ships. Unfortunately, the fish is in a pretty bad position right here where he's losing his ship, so as long as he can use the egg efficiently, I think he can really do a lot of damage. But unfortunately, avoiders, it's kind of in the name that they can avoid the nukes, so as long as you use them carefully and such, they're going to do a lot of damage. The fish out with another cannon ship. And fish loses his ship there. But does a lot of damage to Plus, taking out all his rear engines. Unfortunately, the fish hitting a rock here. Plus taking zones. And now it's kind of turned around to where it's a 2-on-1 zone, and he's taking another. Definitely a decent, not a bad decision to buy the egg here. They've done lots of damage to both ships. It's done lots of damage to both ships. And still is. Oof, that's a big hit. Plus really needs to get his ships back and repaired at this time, because he is getting battered a little bit here. But honestly, Plus is in a much better situation. Unless he really loses a lot of ships quickly here, I think he's going to be able to take this game. He's got a much higher fleet value, much higher, and also making more money at this time. So yeah, and the fish realizes and gives up. So that's a GG. Both players have won 1 round, so this will be the final round in the match. And this will be the final match of these players' engagement. Okay, both players out with the same exact strategy. And we have seen that both before have worked, but in full honesty, the Plus can definitely take the round as long as he doesn't make any major mistakes. I think the fish last round, yeah, the fish definitely is countering his strategy ahead of time in this one. Oh yeah, but we see Plus. He knows that he's countering the strategy, and now taking on that very lightly armored EMP. But now Plus is catching up with the fish is catching up with Plus, and that is not a good situation to be in. He could easily lose this ship, taking some EMP strikes. But I was saying before, I think that last round the fish didn't make a lot of mistakes. It's just every ship he bought got orbited and countered by the avoider. But in this situation, he's definitely taking a different approach, as you can see. Taking out one of the cannon ships and doing a lot of damage to the other. Now finishing off the EMP ship. Plus he's definitely doing good with that avoider. In this situation, I think though Plus is about to get another one as well. And although he does have less money coming in, he's done a lot more damage at this time, so it's quite possible that he'll win the game. But those EMPs just struck while he's face to face with the cannon ship. Fortunately able to save it and take out the EMP. Twin deck cannon up here just spinning and spinning. I think he'll need to get that back and repair soon. It doesn't quite look like the fish has any hard counters to this orbiter. It's definitely a decent design. I actually don't really remember who created it first, but I've seen lots of players using it, and it is an efficient ship. EMP striking with an enemy twin deck cannon on his backside. Let's see what he'll do here to survive this. He's getting a second ship in, and he loses it. Unfortunate. Yeah, I think the lack of armor really plays in the favor in that situation of the fish, and now Plus has to get out of there and is being overwhelmed. Fleet value is looking like now it is in the fish's favor, although he still doesn't want to lose this ship because then that will cut him back a bit in his fleet value. EMP striking. I think this is a really good situation to have a fast booster, maybe, or whatever, DC that has electrobolters, and if you do, then it's ramming the ship would be the best solution. Plus buying another one, getting his other one back to repair. But we honestly, they're both matched in the current income as well, so that's interesting. EMP getting down here to try to do some damage to the Plus, but unfortunately running out of everything and being destroyed. Plus sees the fish trying to get the ship back to safety and strikes and destroys it. This is definitely an interesting situation. It could still go either way. The Plus is getting a little bit aggressive here, and he'd done that before and lost a ship. It kind of just depends if the fish gets a good EMP or gets some good strikes in. And now he does have the EMP, and so Plus is getting out of there. But EMP striking. The ship is able to adequately power everything pretty well, or decently, closer than different laser ships we've seen before in the past. So able to get right back up and running. We see that Alpha has been taken by the Plus, but the fish is taking the side zones over here. Now we see it's a 4v1 in ships, but the Plus does have the better ships. It's now taking out one of those EMPs. We see a nuke stick from the fish. Let's see if you can use that to success as a surprise attack. But those avoiders it's hard to hit those avoiders. And now he's got a third one. As long as he doesn't lose this one, he'll probably be pretty set. And he takes damage, but does not lose it. So that is good for the Plus. Fish, unfortunately, losing one of his ships and almost losing another one. Busy trying to get those nukes on target. This is a bad situation for the fish. He's got a lot of large enemy ships, which definitely puts the fleet value to the Plus. That is a lot more than the fish has right now. The fish, though, does have a little bit more in the bank, but not quite a lot. This round does look like it's probably going to go to the Plus and Mr. Plus, unless he makes some really bad mistakes. So I don't think he's going to, though, at this point of the game. Bravo being contested by two deck cannon ships. Which one will come on top is the question, but the Plus does have backup. He's playing it safe. He is not taking chances. He's not, oh, which one's gonna win? No, he's going at it. See the fish here trying to help out his buddy. Nuke stick, sorry, getting destroyed. Did take alpha, but now has nothing up there and is losing it. Another nuke stick out for the fish. Striking home, doing lots of damage. He's going to want to get that back and repaired. But unfortunately, oh, just about losing that ship here. Losing most of its health. And now it is destroyed. That is unfortunate. And now the fish is kind of it's only really able to buy smaller ships at this point. He's still making a decent amount of money, but to be able to save up for what he needs is not really, it's not really possible this time. It's unfortunate. Trying to destroy this ship before it gets back to its repair, hopefully. Hoping he can do it. And we do see another twin deck cannon lost by the fisher. Plus buying another voider. Can't seem to think of words today. Heavy damage by the nuke stick there. But it is a GG. The Plus winning the first round of this tournament. Okay, now it'll be Artem versus Plus. Let's see if we can get Artem here to start the next round. And here he is. Let's give them a moment to prepare their ships. For me, this is a quite unanticipated round. And we are in Artem versus the Plus. Let's see how this turns out. Artem out with his Faust. So light attack ship, as I would call it. And Plus out with his normal strategy, that a Voider not completely dead ship. Artem doing damage. If he's able to keep hitting in that same spot, he'd be able to cut through really easily. Artem probably saving for his own Avoider at this time. While trying to do damage to the Plus and really annoy him and not really allow him to make any progress in the game. And out with his own Avoider, which has more decent armor than Plus's over here. As well as possibly a jump drive. It does have a jump drive. Both ships engaging one another. But Plus seemingly ready for this and has way more Electrobolters. But Artem coming up from behind with his Faust to do some damage. This is a really interesting round. Kind of curious to see who will win this. We see Artem is doing lots of damage. Oh, and the Plus loses Loses his ship. That is quite unfortunate. Out is another one. If Artem makes some big mistakes, then he definitely take this round back for himself. But at this time, he's even holding his dead enemy's armor back to his own. Yeah, this time, unless Artem makes some big mistakes, he's probably going to be taking this round for himself as a win. Plus, not having a lot of lasers there, not able to do a huge amount of damage. He is trying to take Alpha for himself. And we're going to see Artem most likely putting more Electrobolters on his ship to counter, while also micromanaging his Flaus around. Possibly? No, we do not see that. Possibly deciding what to do here. Flaus getting Electrobolted pretty bad, but making it out of there. Plus out with a ram. And you can see that Artem is not really worried about this shooting from him from behind. He's got a lot more armor. And that ram went a long way. It should have stayed a little closer, I think. And now Flaus is going up there to engage it, but misses and it's come back down. But now we also have a 2v1 here, and Flaus is taking a lot of damage, and Flaus comes in and takes the kill. That is unfortunate. That is a second. And that is a win for Artem. That is the second ship that Flaus has destroyed. And now we're off to our second round. And let's begin. And we're off. Same strategies from both players. Artem going with his Flaus, and Plus going with his Avoider. Flaus was able to do a lot of damage last game. It really came in handy in different situations and really did the most damage out of all Artem's ships. You can see this time he's taking it a little bit more seriously, trying to take the ship out and not just face toward it, not to take damage. He's really trying to hunt him. Artem using Flaus to just kind of orbit around the map and save for his heavier avoider. And he's out with that ship, and now he's coming in, and unfortunately Plus not able to take Alpha. And now we got Artem's Orbiter coming in here. Still having less Electrobolters. That is an interesting that Plus prepared that ahead of time to have the counter for Artem's ship. Artem able to do a lot more damage though. Plus out with that ram. Trying to take Artem out from behind, but we have Flaus here coming in. Attempting to do damage, almost getting into that crack to destroy him. Oh, and now he's cutting right through, bypassing his armor with those cannons. Really being a bother. And he takes out. Flaus strikes again. That is amazing. But unfortunately, Flaus is taking a lot of damage here. But close to his home zone, he might be able to get that ship back to repair. Definitely would be worth it if he could. And there he goes. Attempting to push it back in with the ship, and he is able to get Flaus back, both ships back on the field. Now we're a little bit evened out here. Besides price-wise, Artem has more fleet value and more credits in his the bank. Current income is exactly the same though. The ships on the field at this moment are very similar. Artem feeling a little bit safe here, being able to hold off a little bit more damage from behind than his enemy, Flaus here. Or Plaus. Flaus nearly taken Alpha, but he leaves the zone unfortunately. Artem probably would have gotten there in time anyway. Artem waiting for Flaus to completely power up. And out with another Avoider. Plus, unable to take Alpha again. I don't think he was trying to. I think he's trying to take out that Avoider, and the Ram misses, taking lots of damage. And Artem still has Flaus out back here, just powering up, just getting ready for the next kill. Possibly losing crew. I don't know what's going on with that ship. Big engagement here, but this is a bad spot for Klaus to be right now. Trying to do some spinning, because that's a good trick. At this point, he is lighter, so able to get out of there. And now both players have similar ships. Artem does sell Klaus. Not exactly sure why, but it is gone. And now it is a 2v2. Klaus doing a lot of damage to the front of Artem's ship because of the lack of electrobolters. But Artem cutting through the other. Artem out with another avoider. Artem unfortunately getting pinned to a rock here. But he may be taken out, but we will see. He's coming in with his backup. Strike from behind. Artem does have a higher count of lasers, so he's able to do more damage. But now he's taking direct fire to that reactor, and he does lose the ship, and now he's pinned again to the rock. But Flaus gets immediate revenge on Flaus, and Flaus loses his entire fleet. That is unfortunate. And Artem out with Flaus again, and that is a GG. Artem winning, and we're off to the next set of rounds. This is going to be Artem versus the fish. And these are our last rounds today. Very interesting. Fish is back in the game. Definitely a shorter, smaller tournament, but nonetheless a good one. Hello, Pops. I gotta make sure everyone can hear you on the stream. If you could say something.
Something.
Okay, I believe they can hear you. That is amazing. Okay, the fish versus Artem.
Yeah. All right. So thanks for casting.
No problem. I had a lot of issues with OBS. I might switch from OBS to something else. It does not want to pick up Cosmoteers in any of like the captures, except just Windows capture. Like it won't do game capture. It won't even do like there was another one, but I don't even remember what it was. But yeah, it's only picking it up with.
Oh, if you want, I can look at what my settings are.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it's.
We already discussed it last time, did we? Not sure.
I was having issues last time as well, but not as badly as this time. Well, actually, I take that back. The way I was able to get it to work made it so if I left the game, it would stop everything, but this time it won't. So but it's not full screen. So.
And using a window capture and a game capture. That's probably a bit redundant, but yeah.
Yeah. Fish out with his normal strategy and Artem out with his normal strategy. Ooh, Artem unfortunately losing Flaus right off the bat. That is not good. That could decide the whole round for Artem here, but he is out with another. Fish out with the MP though. And Artem decides to go with a light kite. That is interesting. Turning those ships
Yeah,
around, trying
the
to get them from
laser
behind.
guy. I'm not. Hmm. Ireland should really go after that EMP ship
I
because this laser kite is really weak to that thing.
agreed, yeah. Although the kite able to do a lot of damage, and it's a really good ship. That EMP. I don't know. He sees the EMP though. He's definitely on top of that. And Flaus is you could say made for this type of stuff. So I think he will be able to get him. And he does take him out mostly. But we have a
Yeah.
higher cost EMP out of the Fisher. He knows what he's doing. He knows what he needs. Now he's also spinning his ships. This is definitely an interesting game. Although that control room is exposed, he does realize that. Stop spinning. EMPs unfortunately miss, and Artem at this time is saving up money in the bank. Cutting through. Flaus doing damage to that EMP, and Artem unfortunately may lose this kite here. Yeah, he does. That's unfortunate. But that kind of a kill for kill situation right there.
Yeah, Fish has also lost a lot, and one of his ships is stuck. Okay, but
Yeah, that
Clover
EMP.
doesn't find it quickly enough.
Yeah, also
Oh, and
losing the
now
EMP.
Artem has an avoider out, and that's really bad for Fish because Fish doesn't really have anything on the field that can answer this.
Yeah, unfortunately losing pretty much the only one, which is that EMP there,
Yeah.
and not replacing it as well. We do see that Artem has a higher fleet value and more credits in the bank at this time, but a less total income. So that's interesting.
Now it should be equal after capturing the center.
Which is really putting Fish in a bad spot, honestly.
Yeah,
With that
Fish
of
does have two deck cannon ships in the center together now. Yeah, that's kind of Fish's strategy to counter those avoiders. Just have a lot of deck cannons in one spot. And it is a decent strategy. If you're not careful, you can definitely lose a kite to that.
you
I mean,
can,
an
yeah,
avoider.
you can, yeah. I noticed in the last round, there was different situations where he did get two together, and also even an EMP sometimes, and was able to take out some of your avoiders.
Yeah.
Yeah, the avoider is
What
a
do you think
definitely
of
interesting
those
ship.
avoiders?
I was just saying, it is an interesting ship. In any game, it would lose against a more classic based laser ship, but at the same exact time, it's able to do way more against any other ship than the classic based laser ships and
Oh
survive way
no,
better. This is unfortunate.
Artem
Artem's getting
Thrust is
teamed up
getting
here
up.
really bad.
Yeah, and oh yeah. There are
Artem,
now two deck cannon ships, two groups of them fighting against two avoiders. That's funny.
that's an unfortunate. Honestly, I did notice that Artem's shield setup is very good. They seem to keep themselves powered very well. Oh, we see a little nuke stick out. Nukes do hit, but no severe damage, and one
Yeah,
cannon ship is
because
out.
the deck cannons weren't ready to fire. That would have been a kill if the deck cannons were ready, but they were not.
It would have been.
Oh yeah. And
And
Artem does get one of those deck cannon ships.
yeah, he jumps both of his ships out, kind of resetting his fleet,
Yeah.
which is really, I think his has to be the best I've seen so far because of the jump drives and because of the extra small thrusters. He has 18 of them and slightly better armor than others I've seen. He is able to take more damage and kind of survive a little bit longer, and that's kind of the main thing in domination. If you can, especially in this price range, if you can just keep your ship surviving, then you have a really good chance of winning. You can keep them going back and forth, even if you're doing only a little bit of damage to the enemy, as long as you're not severely losing ships, even if they're taking more ground than you are, then at the end you're gonna have a bigger fleet and take it back and win. And this is kind of what we see from Artem here. He has a 1 mil fleet compared to the 700. Yeah. What are your thoughts on the avoider? It's definitely a new ship, you know.
Oh yeah, I love it. I'm actually the one who made this avoider.
Okay, I couldn't
And
remember who
even
that
the one
was.
Artem uses, Artem does use the same layout as me. He just he, he took my layout and did a few adjustments for himself. He has a different armor distribution. He has the small thrusters and the hyperdrive, as you've already noticed.
Yeah, Artem, if he likes a ship, he'll take it and he can make it better. He can somehow make it better than the original, and I'm kind of worried about him doing that with something I have. But it's kind of like an honor if he does, I must say, because
I'm not convinced that the small thrusters are very good because the rotation speed of the ship is more than fast enough most of the time. And they do cost quite a lot of money. But the hyperdrive certainly is very good. Like in Euros, when we were fighting avoiders versus avoiders, he was often able to teleport them home while I had to take the long way. And yeah, yeah.
yeah,
And
exactly.
the armor, I'm not really sure what's better.
I would
I
say,
think it's kind of a trade-off.
yeah, I would say based on what I've seen, his is a little better than yours, just because it has extra bits on it, and when you add extra bits, extra little stuff to absorb, your armor's fine, it's a good defense, right? But it's like more of a flat laid out armor, and
Yeah,
when you
but
have
it
just
also makes the ship slower.
it does, and that's kind of like a give and a take thing right there. But
Yeah, that's why I meant it's kind of a trade-off.
exactly, yeah. I will say though that is a really good design, and you should be proud of yourself for making it, because you can see it's
Thank
really useful against a lot of especially the two deckhand ships, able to keep the shields up and everything. And compared to a lot of other laser-based ships we've seen, it can kind of get right in there and fight if it needs to, which is really cool.
you. Yeah. Fish is taking the blob to one of the points.
Yeah,
We are coming up on the last 2 minutes, so the players really have to now capture all of the points they can get their hands on. It seems like Artem is playing this more defensively, letting Fish take one of their points back and just trying to defend like the 3 points he has currently.
yeah. I at
And
this
when Fish goes to attack, just swoops in and captures the point again.
Yeah, Flowers is a really nice ship. We noticed that in the round with like you and Artem, like you're doing good, and then Flowers just swoops in and starts hitting you from behind, and I've had different situations too where I had to come up with some counters to Flowers in like the free for all games because it can be a very potent ship if used
Yeah.
correctly, and he often does use it correctly, which is why it's such a potent ship. So I just noticed an example of what you're talking about with how Artem ship's heavier. So against those Zetkans, I noticed that yours was able to back away and just keep a distance, but he had to jump him out because they were closing right in on him.
Yeah, that's also like a thing with piloting because you really need to start accelerating backwards very early if you want to have a chance of outrunning those deck cannon ships.
Yeah, I know what you mean. There's sometimes where I'll be playing in like the free fall games, and you don't know. Yeah, we don't have a same amount of money with my games at least, but you kind of don't know what's going to come at you if you see a blip. Sometimes it could be something someone saved for a while, and I always start running before I see it, or start kind of orbiting to the side, or go to the left or go right, because then I'm already going at speed when they show up. And if something's small, I just try and destroy it. You know, we definitely can see a lot of engagement here. Both players are really trying, but Artem has a lot more zones thanks to Flowers, and that's gonna be a win for him.
I don't know if you have noticed, but I have made this avoider version that I brought especially specifically against Artem because it has a lot of disruptors.
I did notice that. I was mentioning that, and I was curious if Artem was gonna add more disruptors onto his or electric because to counter it,
I
but
don't think Artem has a version with more disruptors, but what I really didn't expect is that the shields just tanked it anyways. Like I wasn't really able to get through at all.
yeah,
Like yeah, the shield layout is just so strong. I guess not even 6 disruptors can get through.
that's something that I noticed about Artem's ships. I think, like me, I just like okay, I throw it together, whatever, and it works, and I play with it, right? And maybe I make a few changes and different, like try to make it a little better. But Artem, I think I noticed with his shield setups, they somehow just reactivate immediately. Like he's got it set up so well where the crew are always there, always ready, and more than the other
Well, I
ships.
have to take some credit here because that shield setup is from me.
Yeah,
Like that's
exactly.
literally just taken from my ship.
Yeah, exactly. So go ahead and take the credit.
Yeah, but
It's such
that's true also on Artem's ion kites.
that
Like he's pre-tasking the small shields and they're like almost immediately go up again. Oh no, Artem losing Flores again immediately.
that is unfortunate. Pinned to a rock and
Yeah,
destroyed. That is sad. That
I
is
don't
sad
know.
indeed. Here we go again. Yeah. Artem possibly, I don't know, maybe losing his will here. I don't know. He seems like a little bit frustrated with how that turned out. Um, Flaus, or not Flaus, sorry, that's you. um, the fish taking Alpha, he does have that EMP as well. Um, Kind of curious to see what Artem will do here. His Fat Pigeon is definitely a better match to the one in Alpha here, the food stamps. To be honest, this is not a great situation for Artem. I don't think it's kind of like it's a 4v2 here. Although Artem does have the better ship, it's
Yeah, the issue is that Artem just lost that scout at the beginning and that already put him pretty far behind. But he did come back in the last match, so
he did
it
definitely
can
could
probably
again.
happen again.
Yeah, could see the fish trying to counter Faust with the his I can't speak today. His 4 cannon ship. Interesting situation. We have the fat pigeon shields being bypassed on the side here, which is exactly what you want to do. But unfortunately, it's a 2v1 with lighter ships but with more guns. So that's Fly was getting hit by the EMPs, taking lots of damage.
And Artem does not have the hyperdrive beacon ship ready.
He doesn't know. And we see the egg V25 for the fish here, doing some friendly fire action. Kind of curious to see.
But Fish's ships are really low on ammo.
Yeah, that is a good
Uh,
point.
he really hasn't put a lot of ammo on the ship, so yeah, a lot of them are already out and they are not able to finish the fat pigeons off.
Kind of like he mentioned before, budget cuts.
Yeah, Oh, and Artem actually opts to spawn in another fat pigeon instead of spawning in a hyperdrive beacon.
Yeah, one of the fat
That's
pigeons here is barely hanging on by a thread and it's
certainly a
destroyed.
curious choice.
So that's a very
Oh,
interesting choice, and I don't believe that was the best choice, unfortunately, in this situation, especially with these cheap eggs on the field. I think getting that avoider or trying to jump those ships out and save them would have been the better choice, but
yeah.
it is possible that he doesn't have a really cheap jump ship. The one he's been using is the one off the workshop,
I'm
and
also curious as to why Artem didn't go for the avoiders again.
that is a question for me as well. I'm not sure. Maybe not
I
sure
feel
actually.
like they would be like they clearly work against Fish's fleet. Fish doesn't have a good answer to them. He can only bring deck cannon spam, and as long as you pilot properly, it doesn't really do anything. And
Yeah,
we have seen that Artem can pilot those properly.
we have. Yeah.
Artem now going for a funny laser kite.
Yeah, that's an interesting choice, especially with the eggs in the field being able to reach those ships, and they're very wide, so hitting them wasn't much of an issue. And there goes one. Although able to, they are doing damage. They are able to do damage, but the thing is, they're
Yeah, the issue now is that there is an EMP ship on the field.
and they are without reactors. He does see this as trying to get it off the map with Flaus here, but as yet to be seen. Both players being cut down on the ships they have, but the fish having a much larger fleet
Yeah.
and even
Manages to
making
take
more.
out the EMP ship at least.
Yeah, although losing Faust in the process would, if is it a good trade? I'm not sure, but I think so. But still, Faust
Yeah,
wasn't that much more expensive.
like Flores costs 110K, I think.
I think it's
Maybe a bit
114.
more.
Yeah,
Um yeah, and one of those EMP ships is like 130, 140.
out with Fat Pigeon again. Fat Pigeon is a not a bad ship for if you're wanting to use two deck cannons in a free for all game. But in this situation, unfortunately, it's definitely you're not getting you're gonna want something cheaper if you're gonna be fighting the fish with twin deck cannons because as we saw before, it was a 2v3 and that's not a very good situation to be in. And now it's a 3v1. Yeah, I think Fish is he's definitely very confident right now. He doesn't see himself losing this game. I okay, so I think a slight problem with this whole tournament is a lot of people didn't know that it was happening. I just had somebody that is normally around the community a decent amount, at saying there's a tournament with a question mark, and I'm not really sure how. Like, I think maybe an idea is like to tell people like in different games and stuff like that or whatever that it's happening or like different places and just Fight Club maybe. I don't know if you did tell anybody on like the Cosmoteer's main Discord or whatever, but yeah,
No, I didn't tell anyone there.
yeah. So we got some.
That that was partly because we don't have a server link though.
Yeah, exactly.
Which reminds me that I should ask for a server link.
Yeah, if actually we could talk about it later too, like about different things that we could maybe help with or whatever. Like we'd like to do like the daily Dom games. So if you would need, we could like talk about like just mentioning it once in a while. Like, hey, by the way, Fight Club's gonna be having a tournament if you need it because we do get a lot of different random players on there. Some people just can't
Or
play.
just refer them to the Fight Club server if they're interested, because all of the announcements are on there anyways.
Exactly, yeah.
Oh, Artem spawns in a kite like a few minutes before the match ends. I don't know if that's the best idea. Like, but the match already seems so bad, so
Yeah, there's not really a lot he can do, honestly, in this situation.
yeah.
That
Yeah,
is a
but
very
normally
good
it's
kite,
so
but
short before the game end, you don't really wanna spawn in kites because they will not be able to really gain any more value.
yeah, that is unfortunate. And especially too with the fish being able to just spin the ships. The kite doesn't really have a lot it can do at this point.
Yeah, and fish spawns in another EMP.
Yeah, those cheap EMPs are pretty nice. Flaws chasing it down here. Yeah, this
I
ion,
do
if it,
think spawning one EMP to take out one waste kite, I think that's worth it for fish.
yeah, because both
I
of
know
those
those
are really
EMP
waste.
kites
So
are really cheap, but I'm not 100% sure on that.
yeah, I'm not
Yeah.
sure either. I haven't really used
But it
either
seems
ships.
like the match is over now.
It does, yeah, and that is the end. GG. Back to main menu,
Okay.
and that is, believe equal for both players. So now one more round. Do you break the
Yeah.
tie? You could say.
I just hope that Artem wins, or else we have to figure out what we do.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. We shall see. If Artem uses the same strategy, I think, as before, I think he would definitely have a better chance of winning than the last game.
Oh yeah.
Because the last game, it kind of seemed a little bit easy for the fish. The fish just, Artem kind of played into the fish strategy of the really cheap twin deck cannons, and um, unfortunately, again, losing Flaus was probably pretty frustrating when so many times before he's used it very effectively that I've seen. Yeah. And we see Artem with a twin deck cannon, but the fish has two twin deck cannons. If Artem can keep these ships being jumped back and grab another one soon here, then he'd definitely be able to, I think, win the game. But that depends if he's able to get another one. It's really a thing in like higher. I don't want to say higher cost game because honestly, for how much they're making, we've definitely had some game. If it is a full 8-player game, that's about how much you make if you're in my game. But higher player games, it's definitely important to keep your ships going back home because if you are constantly losing ships, even if you're taking out enemy ships, then when you're done with that, maybe if you kind of win an engagement, take some more territory, then you're not really going to be able to defend that or take more. So it's important to be able to keep your ships alive and That same with anything, but even more so in higher cost. The fish game bunched up a little bit here. I'm almost losing his egg, but the egg
Oh
being
yeah,
so...
I think he's gonna lose the egg now because
Yeah, not before it does a lot of damage, though.
okay, so how much ammo do Fish's ship have left?
That's a great
A
question.
decent amount still?
They have some left, but not the same amount. Artem about to jump his ship out.
Oh,
Fortunately,
that's gonna be
losing
cool.
it before he gets jumped out. And
Yeah.
now he kind of in a position where he's left the fish with all these zones in alpha if he's gonna leave. And if he doesn't, yeah, he's getting pinned up. I don't think he knows though how much ammo those ships don't have. That's unfortunate. They're pretty much just ran out.
Oh no, Artem sacrificing Flores.
That
And
is
Fish is now
unfortunate.
returning the ships home to get more value out of them.
And taking alpha, that is unfortunate. This game seems like it's already tipped in the favor of the fish. I think again, if Artem was able to get his Voider, that would be the best situation.
Yeah, but Artem does not want to use it for some reason.
Yeah, maybe he felt like it was really the whole time under pressure and didn't want to have that pressure again, but
I think Artem just felt like it's too easy to win the tournament by just playing the same ship again.
it is possible. Unfortunate if that was his idea, then unfortunately the downfall, but I doubt it. I think he was just trying to see if he could use his own deck cannons against the enemy, but unfortunately Artem likes a mix. He's kind of in the same boat as me, like I have lower cost ships I could use, but I don't really have anything that could counter egg. And when egg comes out to play, then it's kind of you're in a bad situation. So it's like I think that's the same with Artem here. He likes to do low cost games and higher-ish cost games, and you kind of have to have slightly different play styles if you're doing those. You can still use cheaper ships if you're careful, but because he uses
Now
pretty much the
Artem
same
is
fleet.
on the missile ship.
The missile ship, if he's able to get enough of them, can do a lot of damage, but at this
Yeah.
point of the game, it's possible, but
Yeah, I'm not convinced spawning a missile ship so late and against a fleet that consists of a lot of deck cannon ships, which won't really take a lot of damage from those missiles.
exactly, if he was able to spawn two at the beginning, I think he would be able to do a lot more, but at this point, it's kind of late. Their fleet differences are, it's kind of a big difference. Artem has like about, just about half a little more than half the fleet, a bit more than half the fleet of the fish, but still a big difference. Although I have seen different times where he's able to continuously spawn his missile ships and slowly pick away at his enemy, but it's just depends on what he's able to do here because he is making less money here, and so it's just yeah. I think like you said, this late in the game, there's not really a lot he can do, especially against these cannon ships. Flaus running around, but also kind of being countered by that four cannon ship. He's not able to really do a lot of damage with it, and losing it unfortunately. And unfortunately, he is losing one of his missile ships, and yeah, he does lose that ship. That is unfortunate. See Arden down here taking on 2 eggs, taking one of them out, but um, this could be a situation where Artem could come back, but their fleet values are staying pretty similar. But Artem is making a lot less, which is not good.
I I really don't think Artem can come back from this at this point.
Yeah, and the fact that the fish doesn't have any like high cost ships on the map where a lot of his money is into it, into one like or to like 3 different ships, it's kind of hard to just like get a game winning kill. You know, if you kill one, it's pretty cheap and he just replaces it. Alright, I'm out of missile ammo here, having to get out of there. But that cannon ship is able to kind of slightly keep up, and that's doing damage to the engines here now. Now he's probably going to lose that ship. That is unfortunate. Losing 2 missile ships almost in conjunction. The other one being destroyed down here, and they're both out. And that is a win for the fish. Okay, let me see if I can show the graph so far. Let's see.
Yeah, everyone got exactly the same amount of wins.
Okay, let me see if I can.
Maybe Artem just used the bad ships on purpose, just so. Just so that this happens.
Maybe. That'd be kind of evil if he did.
Mm,
Okay, I'm having an issue with showing the graph. It's not really popping up. But every player has 2 wins, so um, wait a minute. Possibly now it will show. I think I had it on the wrong page. No, it's not. It's not showing. Interesting. Yeah, normally I am given like a picture I can pop up on the screen, and that's kind of what I was prepared for. I wasn't really expecting to anything different. So a free for all to decide the winner. That's an interesting one. That is a very interesting one. Oh wow. Okay. Wow. Nuh-uh. Yeah, Artem does have a lot of free for all experience. I must say, he gets on quite regularly. Am I correct in assuming you weren't quite prepared for this eventuality?
Yeah, the thing is, I also have to go soon, so I don't know.
Hmm.
I don't think I really have the time to do like 3 more matches. All right, they are both okay with the tie.
I guess then it's
Um,
going to be a tie. That is
I guess
quite interesting.
it's tie then.
Wow, well, that is an interesting one. That I have not seen before. Wow. Does everyone? What if we did a?
We already agreed to a tie, so
Well, I was gonna say, what if we
I
just did
guess
one
the
anyway?
tournament is a tie.
Okay, what if we called it a tie and then did one anyway, just because, like a just
Did
because
one.
match?
Um, I guess you can host one. I'll probably not participate. I'm sorry.
No, that's fine. If you have to get going, then it's no problem.
Yeah. All right. So okay. So yeah, thanks for hosting. Thanks for participating. And yeah.
Thank you. Yeah. Have a good one.
Yeah. All right. Bye, Kim.
And goodbye, plus. And that is the end of the tournament. It's kind of a shorter one and kind of a little bit more simple, but hope you all enjoyed